Okay, just another quick one on this topic, grooming gangs. As we all know, the British police, the British government, the British judiciary has covered this up for over 30 years now. It first came to light in 2000 when Tony Blair was the then Prime Minister, and he sent out emails to every police force, every government, saying, do not prosecute these people for the sake of diversity. Just let them continue and carry on. And this is what's happened. They've raped them outside police stations. The police have come out, held the victims down, and helped them grape the victims. The courts, in some cases, the victims have gone to court, and the judge has been one of the perpetrators. Um, They've been raped inside mosques, outside mosques, in schools, outside schools, in social services buildings, in government buildings, taxis, houses, everywhere. These 500,000, mainly white, but Sikh children as well, and other colours children, all non-Muslim, raped by Muslims, mainly Pakistani Muslims. Uh, and for the thing for this video is to highlight why the Muslim community has sat back and let it go on. Now, you can be rest assured the Muslim community have known about this. So don't listen to any of the lies of the Muslim community when they come forward and they say, oh, we didn't know about it. Yes, you did. You knew about it. You knew it was happening since 2000, 30 years ago. You knew they were raping the girls inside your mosque because you would go inside your mosque, bang your head on the floor 5 times every day to Mr. Allah while they were raping the girls. Again, outside the mosque, you knew when you were walking in the mosque, the girls were being raped outside the mosque while you were walking in the mosque. So you've been fully aware of this problem. And the reason why you haven't stopped it is because in Islam, what the Pakistani Muslim men have done to these 500,000 children is allowed. It's halal in Islam. It's in the Quran. Basically, a child or a woman needs to dress in a full black bin bag. If they're not dressed in a full black bin bag, they can be raped and it's their fault. And again, so when you hear these people say, if we were in a Sharia law country and we sent them back to Sharia, they'd be punished. No, they wouldn't. Because the first question they would be asked is, were the women dressed appropriately? No, they weren't. Okay, you're free to go then. And that's from the Quran. If the children and the women are not dressed appropriately, which means a full black bin bag, head to feet, and they get raped, it's the child and the woman's fault, not the rapist. Even if they get raped 6,000 times, it's not the 6,000 times rapist's fault, it's the child's fault, it's the woman's fault. Even if the child is only 2 years old, it's still the 2-year-old child's fault for not being dressed in a black bin bag. Words of Allah, words of the Quran. So, basically, this is why the Muslim community has sat back and done nothing. Because not only were the children dressed inappropriately, not in a full black bin bag, they were also non Muslim and they were also acting inappropriately. And so all those three things put together means that everyone and anyone could have graped them, continue to grape them, even inside the mosque, and the person who's doing the graping is not at fault. The person who is dressed inappropriately, the person who's a non-Muslim, and the person who is acting inappropriately, it's their fault. And in these cases, it was all the women's fault because of that. Now, isn't it surprising that on a lot of these cases, when they went to social services, the government, the police, anyone else who's supposed to help them, they heard that exact same phrase. It's your fault. Why did they hear that from a British policeman using the UK law, a British social service worker using the British law, a British judge using the British law, when in the British law, it's not the child's fault. It's always the 40 and 50-year-old man's fault, because the 9 and 8-year-old child cannot be held accountable. The eldest one is always held accountable. So in UK law, it's never the child's fault. It's always the older perpetrator's fault. And yet, as I say, in a lot of the cases, that's exactly what the children were told. It's your fault, by people using UK law. Yet, as I've clearly explained, the only time it turns from the perpetrator's fault to the victim's fault, the young little child, is because they weren't wearing the correct dress, a full black bin bag, or they weren't a Muslim. And yet, that's what they've heard from people in UK law. So we have people in UK law who are supposed to, arrest and convict these people, and they are actually using Islamic law to let them get away with it. Which, by the way, as I say, even in an Islamic country, it would be the same scenario. They would walk free. They would walk free and grab the same person right outside the court and rape them again right outside the court, and that, they'd be let off again, because that is Islamic Sharia. So just remember that, folks. The next time you hear someone calling for Sharia in Great Britain, that is what Sharia means. Men can go round, grab children, undress them, say, look, you're dressed inappropriately, and then they can grate them over and over and over again, and it's not their fault, it's the child's fault. Okay, there you go. That's Sharia for you. God bless.